Hey, everyone. Hey, so it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I decided this was a good time to answer the question that I get a lot, which is, how did I find my lump? And honestly, I get that question much more in person when I see people than I do on social media, either in comments or Messenger. And I don't know, I guess people are shy on social media to ask that question, but I've had close friends ask me a lot how I found my lump. So I wanted to hop on here and share that with you guys. So I'm going to try to keep it really short, but honestly, this is a little bit of an emotional topic for me. So I'm going to try to rein it in for you guys. So, how did I find my lump? Well, basically, what happened was I was sitting right here at this table that I am at right now. And I leaned forward just like this, leaning on my arm is here on the table, leaning on it like this. And I felt some tenderness in my breast. And normally, I probably wouldn't have thought twice about that, but it just so happened that the day before, the same thing happened when I was laying on the floor with one of my kids. And so here I am at the table. I was reaching across to help one of the kids with like an art project or something like that. And when I leaned on my breast, I felt tenderness. And so I was like, oh, that happened yesterday too. Let me see what that's about. So I felt it and I could feel some hardness. And I was like, I don't think that's normal. And so I very calmly went out to our garage where my husband was doing laundry and was like, I think you need to check this out. It happened to be a Saturday, so he was home. And for those of you that don't know me, my husband is actually a family medicine physician. So maybe that's why I felt comfortable totally disrobing in the middle of our garage to have him feel my breast. And he was like, yeah, we need to get that checked out. And he asked if I had noticed any skin changes, and I hadn't. But here's the thing, I hadn't been doing self exams either. So really, the lump I found was large. So it's pretty obvious that it was not supposed to be there. But had I been doing self exams, I probably would have been able to find it much sooner. The other thing is, I did have skin changes that I hadn't observed because, like a lot of women, when I get out of the shower, I quickly wrap a towel around me and don't look at my naked body in the mirror. So after he asked me that, I looked in the mirror and I noticed skin changes. So what I had was kind of an indentation on the side of my breast when I had my arm up. So you couldn't see the indentation just when I was just standing there. It was only when I raised my arm up. And it was an indentation. That's the best way I can describe it. There are a lot of skin changes that people can experience with breast cancer, and I didn't know about any of them. So I would love for you all to Google them and look at pictures of them, because what I did was that was on a Saturday that I found my lump, and I had to wait till Monday to try to get an appointment to get it looked at. And I couldn't get an appointment then until like a week and a half later, just I mean, partly because I was traveling, but also, they were full and I was very low risk. So I spent that week and a half doing what people should not do, which is Google all the things about breast cancer. Unfortunately, I'm somewhat educated in the health field to know what is a reputable site versus an irreputable site. But I still was Googling a lot of things and looking for images and information. I also had some pain, and that's not typical for breast cancer, but I did experience pain. And if you're wondering what that felt like, it was kind of shooting pain. And if you've ever breastfed, you know what it feels like to have a letdown reflex. That's what it felt like. And it was just kind of random. It happened randomly throughout the day. And the skin changes, I Googled that a lot and found a lot of images. And so basically, I was fortunate that I had that time, that week and a half before I went for my mammogram and diagnostic ultrasound, because I was able to come to terms with the fact that it was probably not nothing. And my husband had that time too. And by the time I went in for my mammogram, I kind of knew that they were going to say that it was not benign, but I was still hoping for the best. I went in, I had the mammogram and the ultrasound, and immediately when the radiologist finished my ultrasound, he said, it's cancer. And it looks like at least ductal carcinoma in situ, which is basically it's limited to just the ducts in the breast. But based on how large the mass is, and that he had found one node over on the side that was visible, that probably meant it was invasive, which just means, I shouldn't say just, which means that it spread outside of the ducts. And sure enough, it had. So if you've followed my story at all, you know that I had stage 3C breast cancer, which is like the last step before metastasis. So fortunately, I found it before it metastasized. But yeah, so that's kind of how I found it. That's a little bit of the diagnostic phase. I urge you, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I urge you all to know your breasts. Okay, if you're not doing self exams, please at least fill yourself up enough to know what your breasts normally feel like, so that if there's a difference, you know you need to go in. Look at your breasts in the mirror and know what they look like, so that if something looks different, you can go get it checked out. Google the images so you can see what it looks like. There's many different changes in your skin that can occur. You can get orange peel skin. You can get something that looks like a rash. You can have really dry nipples. You can have indentations. There's lots of different skin changes that can happen. And if they happen to you, please get it checked out. Okay. The other thing I want you guys to know is that early diagnostic phase of cancer, any cancer, that is the hardest phase of cancer. And people are often not ready to share their diagnosis with people because there's still a lot of uncertainty with what's going on and what treatment is going to be. And so they're really going through that by themselves. They usually have, some close-knit support network. My husband obviously knew, but I really hadn't told very many people. In fact, I had only told 3 other people besides my husband in that really early phase. And when they come to you, they've already gone through the really hard stuff. And it's really like you want to support that person and you want to say, you got this, you're so strong, it's going to be okay. And I get that because I probably did that a lot before I had this experience. But when they are in that early stage and they're just finding out their diagnosis and they're still working through it, the thing that helped me the most was when people said, you know what, that sucks. How are you doing? How can I support you? Like acknowledging and validating the fact that it sucks. So that's my story for today. I hope that you guys can take this and use it to either help yourself or help other people. Please feel free to reach out to me and ask me any questions at all. Comment them here. I'm here to answer anything. I'm an open book, and I just really want to help spread awareness of not just breast cancer, but the emotional experience that cancer patients and survivors have, as well as their family. So hope that was helpful, you guys. That was longer than I wanted to go, but thank you for watching. Bye.